Well, in summary, what I was talking about was my practice as an expert witness in the court system. Since I retired from academic life, have become more and more involved in civil and particularly criminal cases, mostly for law enforcement, but to some degree for the defences as well. And it's important to look at the weakness of evidence on the part of the defence as well as the strength of evidence on the part of law enforcement. And over that time, there has been an ever steady increase in the amount of evidence derived in one way or another using GPS that is coming into the court system. At first, we discovered that inside GPS sat-navs was a rich cornucopia of evidence that people had put there in the form of addresses and so on. And we had to learn to extract that, and we had to learn how to present it to the court. And now we're getting a great deal of evidence in which people are tracked every inch of their way. In some cases, and I cited a case this morning, because they've inadvertently switched their sat-nav into a mode in which it does record their every move. In other cases, because somebody has fitted a tracking system to their vehicle, either another criminal or, more commonly, their employer, who wishes to know for perfectly legitimate reasons where they are. And this kind of evidence can be attacked in court quite knowledgeably, quite deeply, particularly as in conferences like this we discover the vulnerabilities of GPS to all sorts of different threats. Those will get cited in court, and it becomes necessary to prove to the court that none of those affected the evidence being presented. The future trends are for an increase, particularly because it is very likely that in about 2 years' time, every new car will be mandated to carry a tracking system. This is in fact being driven by the requirement that when somebody calls 999 or 112 across Europe, their location be reported, and in many cases the car itself will make the emergency call if it detects a crash. So we're going to see a lot more of this kind of evidence. We're also seeing a lot of additional evidence. A car coming on the market nowadays, an upmarket car, may have 100 million lines of computer code. It may be storing more information per day than a busy user of the internet is storing. And all of that information is held inside the vehicle, and people are now beginning to extract it. So whereas at the moment we're principally looking at GPS tracking, we will be looking at every aspect of the car, from when the doors were open to its acceleration, its braking, its turning, and all that is being held in the new generation of cars already. Spoofing is a very interesting one at the moment, and it's a very good question. I have yet to see a spoofing case coming into the criminal courts, but I will, and quite soon. I think there are two places where it will first appear, and it's a toss-up as to which one will be first. One will be in fishing, where pretty well every fishing boat in the world has to carry a system that shows where it's fishing and whether it's fishing legally or illegally. And they're ripe for GPS spoofing. Very easy to spoof them to show that they're in a legal area when they're really catching naughty fish. The other is criminals. An awful lot of high-value loads are being tracked continuously by their owners, so that if they are hijacked, and they are hijacked, an alarm is raised. A spoofer carried on that vehicle, or even close to that vehicle, could show it following its expected route when in fact it's been hijacked and robbed and the contents have disappeared. So those are the first areas in which I think we're going to see spoofing, but we are certainly going to see spoofing quite soon.